then obviously, and this is the worst question, and it's the one I struggle with the most about any of my favorite artists. But what is your favorite Tom Petty album? If you absolutely could only pick one, and I'm pretty sure I know which one it is.
Yeah, it's Wildflowers. Yeah.
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 And people say it's the sort of I've had a couple of guests say, well, I shouldn't pick Wildflowers because that's the obvious answer, but it is the obvious answer for a reason. It's because it's a perfect record. I mean, I would say that I've got three on a different podcast that I do. We were talking about perfect records, and for me, it's Revolver by the Beatles, News of the World by Queen, and Wildflowers by Tom Petty. I just wouldn't change a single note on any track on any of those records. Maybe Graceland you could throw in there too, because I
Yeah.
love that record. I'd
Yeah.
never thought to put that one in. But those are the ones for me. So Wildflowers is a perfectly good answer.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'll stick with it.
Okay, so Mudcrutch or Traveling Wilburys?
That's hard. See, that's hard. That's hard because I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Traveling Wilburys, right?
Hmm.
I just got Jeff Lynne tickets last week, so on.
Yeah, that's exciting. Where about you seen him?
Seeing him in September in DC.
Wow,
So
that's
yeah,
gonna be a good gig.
yeah, I'm excited. Mudcrutch, I was even later too, right? Like Mudcrutch, I feel like I discovered. I think it was 2 spring breaks ago. I just like listening to Shady Grove over and over again, and I love it because it's so different. But Traveling Wilburys is sort of a sentimental favorite. I got to go with the Traveling Wilburys. I mean, just the melding of those voices, and
Yeah.
I mean, like Roy Orbison is like a cherry on top. I mean, it's just amazing. Just yeah,
So,
that's a
so
10 out of 10 album for me. The first volume of
oh
Traveling.
God, yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
you talk about, I was talking about this with someone else, the fact that those five voices, when you look at them on paper, I think Dylan Petty, Roy Orbison, Jeff Lynne, and George Harrison. Well, those five voices are not going to work because they shouldn't,
They
because they're
shouldn't
so
work.
different. Or
Right.
there's collisions there, but that's what makes it work. I'm just looking
Yeah.
at I was just looking down the ELO set list for this tour that you're going to. Oh man. Like, if you wrote down here's 20 songs I would love to see Jeff Lynne perform live, well, they're all in this set list.
Oh, don't tell me too much. I'm
No,
gonna
I won't tell you too much, but
try to jump into it.
okay. If you could join the Heartbreakers on stage for one song, what would it be and what instrument would you play and or sing? And I always had the caveat there that we'll pretend if you don't play or you're not confident in your voice, because everyone can sing, they just don't think they can sometimes. But let's imagine if you wanted to play anything, we could give you Benmont Tench's
Oh
level
my
piano,
gosh.
or
Oh my gosh.
so
He's
that's the
amazing.
caveat. Oh God.
Oh God. I don't know. This is the one I knew was gonna trip me out. I don't know. Maybe American Girl, just because I am one, and I
Yeah.
just feel like it would fit. I know it's not the one you expected, and it's kind of maybe it's a cliched answer, but I think it would be exciting just to sing. Actually, I'd be happy just to like sing backing vocals.
Well, man, I've sung that song plenty of times in karaoke. It's a lot of fun to sing.
It's
Why
a lot of
wouldn't you
fun.
want to sing that, right? I mean, it's a good jam.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did you see the video, sort of the one that Adria directed that they released for American
Yes.
Girl?
Yes.
I thought it was fabulous, and I know it got a bit of
Yeah.
backlash in certain parts of the community, somewhat predictably, I guess. But I thought it was good at redressing that balance a little bit, the ethnocentricity and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and making sure that it is, because it is a super inclusive. I've always interpreted that as being very inclusive, not exclusive. So for them to do that and to put that sort of that feeling behind it, I thought it was fabulous.
I think it was great too. And I saw Mike Campbell play it. I got to see him. So, and it was like in a club of like, I think there were like 500 people. So it was amazing. It was like he was in our basement.
Not crazy. Yeah.
And when he played that and those chords, when that music came on, the jangle, I just like, oh my God. Very exciting. Yeah.
And it's so great though to see Mike Campbell still out there playing, and still rocking
amazing.
too. He's not out there going through the motions. He's still a rock star. I just love the fact that he's still doing it.
And he's just so nice and chill. You just felt like you were just hanging out with him, like you had him over for burgers. He just has that kind of personality.
Yeah. Okay, who would be your dream opening act at the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers concert?
I feel like I should pass on this because I like everything. I mean, if I say Neil Young, is that a weird answer to give for Tom Petty?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I
Okay.
think that's a perfectly good. And then, you know what? That's not out of the realm of possibility to Farm Aid or a festival, or it could
Okay,
happen
I'll say
or it could have
Buffalo
happened.
Springfield. As long as it use my imagination, I'll say Buffalo Springfield. That would be cool.
Okay, so is this? I've been doing a follow-up question on this one lately. If there's a is there a song where Tom could join the band and sing with them, or where maybe Neil Young would come across and do a duet with Tom? Is there a song you can think of that would work well for them to sort of do together?
Oh yeah. I mean, can I think of one off the top of my head? I think they would work. You know what? You've seen the Bob Dylan 30th anniversary concert where they
Yes.
sing My Back Pages together, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Um and maybe very excited to see them at the same microphone at the same time. I think they like Down by the River. You could imagine Petty playing that. I was just playing that in my car yesterday and appreciating that Everybody Knows This Is Nowhere album. I think I could see Tom singing on any of that, I think. And vice versa. I could definitely hear Neil Young singing Mary Jane's Last Dance for sure, right?
Oh
Playing
yeah.
harmonica. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
of
he'd do it
course, with the
well.
harmonica. That's the perfect choice. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny because I just obviously just did Mary Jane's Last Dance
yeah.
on the show, and I hadn't really noticed or realized that that's the first time you really hear harmonica on a Tom Petty song, really, as a
That's
lead instrument
crazy.
at
Is
least.
that
Yeah.
yeah, you said that. I listened to that and I couldn't believe that was right. I was like, is that true? And
Neither could I.
I'm not refuting you. I just it
Yeah.
seemed hard to believe, right?
Oh, I went back. Oh,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
believe you. I
I went back.
know.
I'm like,
I know.
I gotta go because I thought that can't be right. I must be wrong on this. And I'm going through and I'm thinking, no, no, no. So first thing I went did and look back at the liner notes. No harmonica anywhere. There's harmonica on Down the Torpedoes. So I'm looking through the track list. I'm like, nah, it's got to be a B side or
Oh,
something then because there's
I mean,
nothing on any of these tracks. So it's the first time, and of course, it's the signature of the song. It just
yeah.
makes
Oh
it makes the
yeah.
whole song takes it
Oh
to that
yeah.
level that it wouldn't have, But
But then he does. You don't know how it feels, right? That has harmonica. Well, but
yeah,
that's after. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
So he does. It's sort of an opening to. Yeah.
yeah.
I love the sound of harmonica. Really.
Oh, especially
Um.
when Scott Thurston plays it live too, just like wow, this guy
Yeah.
can
It's
play
beautiful.
anything.
No. It just. Yeah.
Okay, so who is your favorite band member other than Tom? Always assuming that your favorite member of the Heartbreakers is Tom, which I think it probably is in most of our cases.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I hate picking, but I don't know. I follow Ben Montench on Instagram, and I think he just always seems like a really thoughtful, sweet guy, and he's always
Yeah.
talking about the books he's reading, and I could imagine having a conversation with him, I guess.
You could have that's one thing I've always thought about Benmont is you could talk to Benmont about pretty much anything, not just
Yeah,
music. Seems so
yeah.
well read across a variety, like about food because his wife's a big foodie. But I bet you could talk to him about history, all those kinds of things. He's one of those people, and I always think he's very intense. If you're speaking to him, he'd be looking you dead in the eye the whole time he was talking. So
Yeah, I just like I when I watched Wildflowers, I guess Wildflowers more than Running Down a Dream, but his quotes sort of stick out to me, right? The things
yeah,
that he says, and he talks about blacking out on the piano, doing Crawling Back to You, and that like,
yeah,
wow, I just think about what a high compliment that is to the songwriting, right? So
absolutely.
yeah, I just imagined he seems pretty easy to talk to,
I'd love to
but
meet
they
him.
all do really in some way.
Yeah, well, I mean, like again, they're Mike and Benmont are the two. They're the white
Yeah,
whales. They're the white whales
yeah,
for my podcast, right? If I ever
yeah.
got to speak to them, I don't know I don't know if I'd be able to speak. Is the problem? Is it's Benmont Tench.
I wouldn't be able to either.
Okay, so if you could go to see any Tom Petty concert from history that you weren't at, and obviously neither of us saw him live, which one would you pick?
That's the one I was worried about because I don't feel like I know it's well enough.
Right,
Uh,
or an era? You could even go for an era,
yeah,
or
I think he looked the learning to fly the into the Great Wide Open era seems like it would have been.
yeah.
He looked healthy and young, and I don't know, just the energy seemed like it was still there. So
Yeah, I think he seemed energized on that tour,
yeah,
especially with it because it's got the big set, right, with the tree, and you've got all the sort of production that goes along with it. The He looked like he was really having fun on that tour, and of course,
Yeah.
there's stuff going on in the background that we know about now. But it looked like he was really putting it all out there. And man, I was watching again that live version of "Don't Come Around Here No More" online from that tour, where Mike does the thing where he plays one guitar, sets it down, plays the next guitar, sets it down, then he plays, and it's got the big intro, and then Tom. Have you seen this? Have you seen the video?
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, I'll have to
I
send
don't
it to you.
care for that song. I know I'm not supposed to, but it's not
Ah,
my favorite.
no, neither does my daughter. My youngest daughter doesn't like it. And I think it's because my wife's overplayed it for her. I'll send you that link. When you watch that video, I'll be amazed if it doesn't change you. I'll be amazed if it doesn't tilt you a little bit
Okay.
because the performance that performance is incredible. So
Oh, I believe it. I can always be persuaded. But yeah, maybe I'd pick that era. I mean, I want to say like the last concert because I feel like they must have come not too far away from here, and I probably had an opportunity to go. So I wish I could have gone, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we all do for sure. I mean, I think the closest they came to me was Vancouver, I think, which is 20, what, a 20-hour drive, 21-hour drive. So it's a
Oh,
little bit out,
that's
it's a little bit
yeah,
outside the, so
yeah. We just thought we had a long time, right? I always thought of him as being much
yeah,
younger, and I mean, I've seen Paul Simon 8 times, Paul McCartney 3 times. I mean, I just felt like
yeah,
everybody lives until they're 80, and I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
regrets, but so either one of those, if that,
Cool.
yeah.
Good answer. Okay. Wall Circus or Walls number three, which is your favorite version?
I should have like listened to all of them. I mean, the one Wall Circus is the one that we hear all the time, right? Is the
That's
one that's
the
yeah,
full
that's
arrangements.
I
Yeah.
mean, I love it. I don't know. I know I have the other one on vinyl and I should have listened to it again. But I like the one that was more popular. I like it just fine.
Yeah.
And it's kind of Beatlesque, right? And
Yeah. Very. Yeah. It's got
yeah.
that psychedelic kind of
Yeah.
tinge to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you could pick any artist to cover any Tom Petty song, which artist and which song would they cover?
I mean, I was telling you how much I love Stephen Stills. I would love to hear like he doesn't sound like he used to, but if I could hear a young Stephen Stills cover something that Tom Petty did, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Um, what song? I don't know. I'd love to hear Tom Petty sing 4 and 20, actually, but that's not the question you're asking me. Um, I'll say Wildflowers, or you know what? You know what song I feel like deserves a lot more credit is Square One. I love that song.
Oh, nice. And
Yeah, I love that song. That song is really special to me.
yeah, I mean, and like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Neil Young's voice, so I've not really listened to, but I do know some of Stephen Stills' work, and Square One, I think, would be a good fit for him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's. I should have rehearsed the answer so I could have given it to you quicker. But
it's all good. I'll make it sound
okay,
great. I'll make it sound great in the edit. It's all good.
okay.
Okay, so what song do you most frequently recommend to people who don't know Tom's music? Which seems almost an impossibility. And you think you don't know any Tom Petty, really? But
Yeah, I don't know anybody.
I spoke to a guy who for the Petty Eight thing that I do, who literally said I know Free Falling, Running Down a Dream. And that's an American Girl, and that's about it. I'm like, wow. And this is a guy who has played hundreds of shows in his life, listens to loads of music. But like you said, sometimes some artists we just miss them,
Escape
right?
you.
They just yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, it really depends on the palette of the person because I think I'm not trying to be evasive, but I think that is one of his gifts is that he had such a like
Yeah.
wide ranging palette that if it was somebody who was like a Paul Simon person, I probably would send them to Wildflowers. If it was somebody who liked, harder rock, I'd probably send them to You Wreck Me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I'm in a Wildflowers mood since we're talking about it. So I probably would say, this is everything this guy is about is sort of, I guess this hope for the listener and this hope for the people in his life that they find peace of mind and freedom. And isn't that wonderful? And
Yeah.
anybody I would talk to would understand why I cared about that so much.
That's beautiful. I mean, no one's picked it yet either, which is
Yeah.
unusual because, like you said, I mean, it does sort of encapsulate a lot about him and a lot about the band, actually, because, like I said, the playing on that song it's remarkable. Like from a musical standpoint, it's just executed to a level that not many artists ever reach, right? I mean, I think about Paul Simon is I always think about is very meticulous too, right? The arrangements he spends a lot of time. Pete Gabriel's another one who spends a lot of time making sure everything's dead right. And this is the same thing. It's the same level of production and detail. So we'll finish up with the 10 questions. Describe Tom Petty in 3 words.
Okay, so that one I was ready for. I think jaded optimism. I have to put those two together because I don't think one makes sense without the other, right?
Right.
And hopeful, right? So I wanted to come up with some really original words, but
Yeah.
to me, that's it. I kept thinking, is he a jaded optimist or is he like optimistically jaded? but I think he is an optimist. I think he is an optimist, but kind of a weathered optimist, right? Somebody who has probably from a young age had a lot of hard times and had to learn how to work through them. And he's very
Yeah.
honest about it. And I think that's a beautiful story. So
I always describe myself as an optimistic cynic.
yeah,
I hope everything turns out all right, but balance of probability and life experience, probably not.
Right. No, I almost said that, so I'm glad I did.
Awesome. Well, that's so cool. Thanks for doing this. Hey, I really appreciate it. It's lovely to, like I said, it's lovely to meet you. Maybe
I'm wearing my Wildflower shirt. I don't know if you can. Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Wildflowers buddies. Maybe because I usually finish off by asking people, where they can find you and what you got going on, but you're not selling anything. You just came on to
I'm not selling
you came on to be awesome and talk Tom Petty, and I really appreciate it. But maybe what we'll do is we'll finish with this then. What should people give people like 2 or 3 books that they should look to read? Because I think that people reading is important. I went back to paper about, I don't know, 10 years ago instead of reading on my Kindle.
Yeah.
And sitting down with a piece of paper in your hands, I think is terribly important. So what 3 books should people look out for?
What 3 books? Oh my goodness, you're really. I mean, I love Charlotte's Web.
Oh, great book. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a book that's like there's not a word wasted, right? And if you love music and good music, you'll appreciate how a story is told, just about friendship too and about hope. I read a book called Lincoln's Melancholy that led me to my Lincoln rabbit hole, like all about Lincoln struggling with depression. And I found that to be very powerful. What's a third book? I'm ashamed to say I don't really read as much as I used to, but a couple of years ago, I read the book Educated by Tara Westover. Have you read that book?
No.
It's all about being raised in a kind of off the grid. Yeah. And she sort of breaks out of it. So I found that to be a really powerful story. And that's fairly recent, just about, and it kind of relates to the theme of this conversation because she does get away. She escapes this family and pursues her own education. It's a memoir written a couple of years ago.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put links to those then in the episode notes for people.
And I also loved Into the Wild, but I like the movie, I think maybe. But anyway, yeah.
I don't think I've read that one either. I mean, there's so many artists that pass us by. There's also so many books that pass us by.
I know. I know. And I'm so busy like teaching and mothering and running all over the place with my family lately that I probably don't read as much as I should, but
teaching and mothering is there's a line there, but it's not a distinct one, is it?
It's not a distinct line at all. Sometimes not distinct enough, honestly. Yeah. Yeah.
From your kids' perspective too. I mean, that's such a burden on the kids, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you should ask one night I was half asleep and I said to my husband in my sleep something about, do you have your study guide? Can you get your study guide out? It's like, what? So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you know what? I'm so glad to have met you. And to have chatted with you. It'll affect our online communication going forward, I'm sure. And you know what? Who knows? This podcast is going to be going on for years and years and years. So we'll probably get you back on at some point to talk some more.
I don't know how you do all of it. I mean, you do something else for work, or this is just a side gig.
Yeah. This is just a passion project. Wow. Absolutely. Yeah.
I admire it. Yeah, I admire it because even writing my little essays for Stereo Stories, that like I want to do more of those, and I just find like I don't have the time to do. So